Hello, everyone, and welcome to our very first story submission. I am both excited and slightly terrified to be doing this because apparently I've become one of those people who sits in front of a microphone and talks about other people's drama on the internet. Life comes at you fast. Before we get started, thank you to everyone who submitted stories. Names and identifying details may be changed to protect privacy. Now, today's story comes from an anonymous listener, and when I tell you this one had me saying, "Wait, what?" multiple times, I am not exaggerating. Anonymous writes, "This happened back when I was in college. It was the beginning of the fall semester during my sophomore year when my friends and I met a new girl. She had just transferred to our university, which was a mid-sized school. She told us she had recently gotten married and had moved to the area to live with her husband and his family. None of us thought much of it. We'd chat between classes and hang out on campus, but that was about it. Since she was married, we assumed she probably wanted to spend her weekends with her husband and family. Plus, she was a full-time student, so we figured she was busy with classes and studying. We never really invited her out, but there was no drama or anything like that. About a month into the semester, she told us she was pregnant and wasn't feeling very well. She said she was considering asking for accommodations or possibly withdrawing from her classes until after the baby was born. We were all supportive and basically said, 'Take care of yourself.' Then she disappeared. For the rest of the semester, none of us saw her. We assumed she had withdrawn from her classes. We weren't particularly close to her, so life just moved on. Then, at the beginning of the spring semester, she came back. She was definitely bigger than she had been at the beginning of the fall semester, but she didn't look pregnant. One day she told me that she had suffered a miscarriage. I expressed my condolences. She seemed genuinely upset, and I felt terrible for her. She explained that she had attended a funeral one weekend, slipped on a wet spot, fell, and miscarried. A few weeks later, the topic came up again. This time, she told me that she had been at a funeral, missed a step while going up some stairs, fell down the stairs, and miscarried. I remember thinking, wait, that's not what you told me before. Confused, I asked a few of my friends if she had ever told them how the miscarriage happened. They all said yes. Then everyone started sharing the story she had told them. Apparently, she had given each of us a different version. Now, miscarriage is obviously a very sensitive topic. We had all respected her privacy and never discussed it with anyone else. But hearing multiple conflicting stories started to raise some questions. At the time, I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. I figured maybe she was grieving and struggling to talk about what happened. I had never experienced pregnancy loss, so I didn't know how people process something like that. As the semester went on, she started telling us that she and her husband were having marital problems because he couldn't cope with the loss of the pregnancy. Then, before the semester ended, she told us they were getting divorced and that she was moving back home. That was the end of it. Or so I thought. About a year later, my friends and I ended up meeting her former sister-in-law, her ex-husband's sister. During a conversation, the sister-in-law told us a completely different story. According to her, the woman had been seeing another man the entire time she was married. She had supposedly been cheating on her husband throughout the marriage. The sister-in-law claimed that there had never been a pregnancy at all. According to the family, the husband had discovered the affair and was preparing to leave her. In an attempt to save the marriage, she allegedly pretended to be pregnant so he wouldn't divorce her. But eventually, she couldn't keep up the act. The husband wanted to attend doctor's appointments. He wanted to know when they would find out the baby's gender. He wanted to go to the ultrasound appointments. And that's when the entire story supposedly fell apart. I remember sitting there completely stunned. If what the sister-in-law told us was true, then every single one of us had been told a different miscarriage story because there had never been a miscarriage in the first place. To this day, I don't know with 100% certainty what really happened, but I will say this. I've never forgotten that story. It resurfaces in my mind from time to time. Personally, I can understand why the anonymous writer was shocked. If the sister-in-law was telling the truth, then that's an incredibly elaborate lie to maintain for such a long period of time. On the other hand, we're also hearing this information secondhand from someone who may not have had the full story either. What really stood out to me was the fact that everyone was told a different version of what happened. That doesn't automatically mean someone is lying, but it does make you wonder what was really going on behind the scenes. Listeners, what do you think? Do you think the sister-in-law was telling the truth? Do you think there could have been another explanation? Or do you think the truth is probably somewhere in the middle? Let me know what you think in the comments.